Right, WrestleMania's done. Raw and SmackDown after WrestleMania is done, but one question is going to be posed to A, my co-host, and B, to all of you guys. Why the hell could we have not got Raw and SmackDown instead of WrestleMania night one and night two? We'll get into it all on this SmackDown review with the one, the only, Mr. Andy Burrows joining us back again, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, my friend, and yes, why the fuck could we have not got Raw and SmackDown nights one and two? I feel like I owe Triple H an apology. If you watch Pat McAfee's interview, The Rock pretty much fucked up WrestleMania, Raw and SmackDown. But I said I fell out of love with wrestling. That lasted all the 24 hours because it's pretty much like Triple H kind of went, well, I'm running this show now. We're not bowing into the. And look, I love The Rock, but hey, fucking hell, I got his Brahma Bull tattooed up there. Yeah, looked like he completely fucked up WrestleMania. But wow, SmackDown, dude, incredible. Absolutely loved it.
Yes, it was. It was indeed fantastic, and finally got round to watching the last few weeks. I kind of watched it in reverse order. I watched
Nice,
the
nice.
TLC
Good thing
yesterday,
about,
and
I think you had to. It was a buzz all over the internet, mate. Everyone was talking about that match. You probably did well to start at the end and watch it backwards. Yeah.
yeah, that wasn't through choice. As I said to you before coming out, Riley, when it was announced last week, he was like, "I want to see that match." So I was like, "Well, watch
Yeah.
that one, and then I'll watch the rest." And he
Hmm.
one of the first times he sat through it. But look, let's just talk about that aforementioned The Rock.
Hmm.
We got I think there was an interview on Pat McAfee on Tuesday. There was when he basically just turned around and it was shit, really. It was him that fucked everything up by from from what you take from that. And then to kind of make matters worse, and we were talking about how WWE, pulling back the curtain too much on the documentary coming out. And then The Rock responds to David LaGrecia of a Busted Open Radio because he was having the rant of all rants. I mean, he took
Oh,
our rant, put it on steroids, and he went out. And then The Rock said, "Mate, it's all a work." Now, which was apparently met with a lot of issues backstage with some of the wrestlers. Now, we look, as wrestling fans, we're not stupid enough to know they know who wins and loses. That we know that. That is
hmm.
something that's already planned. The bit that gets you there, the story as much, is when the serious stuff happens, like injuries and everything else. Is he sort of fastly becoming one of the most hated men within the WWE because of basically running his mouth? And maybe he should know his role and shut his mouth.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, he was pretty much trying to save face with that Pat
Mm.
McAfee interview. He's The Rock. He's a Hollywood superstar. But everything that he's got, wrestling has given him. And when you watch that Pat McAfee interview, you just sit there thinking, "Stop talking, dude. You're just digging yourself a bigger hole." It is literally know your role and shut your mouth because you were just giving us the evidence that we needed that you pretty much fucked up WrestleMania. I wanted to take a step back. It was all about Cena and Cody and yada yada yada. But yet you gave us some rapper that no one cares about. If you really cared about the business, you would have known that that would have gone down like a lead balloon, and it did go down like a lead balloon amongst wrestling fans. So, is he the most hated for now? I'm going to say yes. This is a wrestling business. It can flip 180, but he didn't do himself any favors, ads. You know what I mean? But
Mm.
some of the comments he was making, it was never about me. Basically, admitted that they didn't have a plan and they wanted to sell tickets for Elimination Chamber. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what he told us. So people, the execs, you think Triple H and all these people backstage at WWE must have been thinking, fucking hell, the Khans must have been thinking, hang on a minute, he's literally just throwing us all under the bus. So then I think that has ignited a fire under Triple H, and that's probably why we got the Raw and the SmackDown that we got. Because I will go on record and saying, look, when I sat with you and we reviewed night two of WrestleMania, I was done. I
Mm.
was like, I could not be more disappointed in the product that I've grown up with being given to some Z-list rapper that no one's heard of. You were not continuing storylines that you had quote unquote built, but now you're telling us the storyline was just for tickets. It was never about The Rock. I mean, shut the fuck up, man. You were digging a hole, dude. And fear, thank God. Triple H now, and like you say, there's been rumblings backstage that people are very pissed off with The Rock. I don't think there was rumors that he was on meant to be on SmackDown. Thank God that didn't happen. I don't think we're going to see him for a very long time, mate.
No, not even do I. You mentioned Travis Scott though, and if again reports are being there that pitches have been made for Travis Scott to team up with John Cena. at one point in time, but potentially with Bad Bunny on the opposing side, and we spoke about celebrities and at the WrestleMania thing. Is WWE becoming too reliant on, I say, quote unquote, celebrity thing to become viral? Are they going down that route where it's becoming just too much now? And should they actually focus on the people that they've got, the talented wrestlers that they've actually got?
Yeah, you're 100% right. Like we said when we sat down, what, a couple of days ago now, when we done night two, you don't need to have these celebrities. But look, it's always been a thing in wrestling. You can
Yeah.
go back to the first rate, you can go back to the Cyndi Lauper days, you can go back to Mr. T. It's always been a thing in wrestling, and I get that. Used at the right time, the right moment, it's good. It's a good little, a little quirky thing that you might see, a Floyd Mayweather come in and break the Big Show's nose. You'll see something like you see a Pamela Anderson walk Shawn Michaels down to the
Mm.
ring. You'll see Mike Tyson count to three. They're fine. Nothing wrong with that. But when you've got a rapper intervening into the main event, this is it. This is the last match of WrestleMania weekend. When you've got him being the main guy with entrance music coming down the ramp, you think to yourself, what's going on here with WWE? And like I said to you a couple of days ago, they don't need to do it.
No.
It's not like they need clicks and likes. They're not like, us lot of podcasters and stuff. We're always tweeting our stuff out, we want to get our content out there.
Mm.
WWE don't need to do that. They've
No.
just got to be the WWE. I don't get why they're going down this road. Is it maybe now a pressure thing from when they're now Netflix have got it? Who
Yeah.
knows? Is it now Netflix are saying to WWE, look, we want this, this, and this. We want to attract this audience. Am I missing something where they're attracting a newer audience that possibly wouldn't watch wrestling? But really, if you see some Z-list rapper walk, are you going to go, oh, I'm going to watch wrestling now?
No.
No. And if he has a match, dude, oh, I hope someone put him in there with someone's going to kill him. Put him in there with Goldberg. There you go. I'll have him as Goldberg's retirement match. Put him in there with Goldberg and let him absolutely destroy him. They're both as much used as a trapdoor in a canoe. So yeah, that's where I am with it, mate.
I must have to say that it's just talking about wrestling briefly and
hmm
perhaps the global stuff. And maybe this is a Netflix thing. It was the first time I had ever seen WWE appear on an episode of Gogglebox.
Was it on Gogglebox? Was it?
It
I'm gonna have to
was.
watch that.
It
How
was.
did they do? How? Because I know someone that's done something to do with Gogglebox, and obviously it's all set up and pre-recorded and stuff like that. Oh, that'd be well interesting. How did it go
Some of them
down
are
on
actually
Gogglebox?
know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Some of
yeah.
them are actually wrestling fans. Others are
Should have got
like,
me and you to do it.
oh man, could you? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it is on the pre-9. It's on after 9 o'clock watershed, so you might.
I'm
We
very
may.
goggle, and you're out your box. So yeah, we would have done well, mate.
We would have been perfect. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, they're all. It was a lot of them were kind of doing it a lot of tongue in cheek, a lot,
hmm
like you would see if somebody, people, oh yeah, it's all fake. That's the kind of people,
Ah,
majority
dude,
of
Daniel
Goggle.
Bryan was on. Did you hear Daniel Bryan on Talk Sport the other day?
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
they didn't have Big Daddy John H. Oh, it's fucking jealous.
yeah. And they got Alex McCarthy. Is he not Talk Sport?
Yeah. Why didn't that's what I'm saying? Why didn't they? If you use your brain, you get Alex to do that interview, not Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor.
And this is something that I kind of where it gets on my nerves a little bit, right? Because us as content creators, you do it, and you completed it pod as well. You've got other pods, you got your football pod, but and this is not just sour grapes for me, but like we do this every single week, right? We'll post content out about wrestling or whatnot, right? And ultimately, the goal for us is to get those guys from the WWE to bring their talent on our show, right? Now, we've
hmm
been fortunate, TNA, we've had a couple of AEWs, and it frustrates me when people like Alan Brazil, Gabby Bonglahor, people that have zero interest in the sport get to interview people like Brian Danielson. Whereas there's people like us that give a shit about
hmm
wrestling that just get left behind because we're not this global fucking multi-million subscriber base.
hmm
They don't care about us.
No, yeah, you're right. And I was listening. I was out on the road, and the interview come on, and the guy I was driving was cracking up because he's like, "Oh, they're just taking the piss out of wrestling," and effectively, they were.
Mhm.
And as a wrestling fan, I was getting. He's like, "What are you getting the ump about?" I'm like, "This is pissing me off. This interview." Because, like you just said, like you sit and give blood, sweat, and tears to hitting the turnbuckle. I've been part of it. I've got
Yeah.
my completed. We all would love to get these big guests on them, but and then TalkSport just get there and they want to talk about Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks, and they couldn't even get after names right. They didn't have a clue, but they're clearly reading it off a script.
Yeah,
Okay, when you've got Alex McCarthy that works at TalkSport, get him to do the interview. Put
yeah,
Daniel Bryan on a show that isn't the TalkSport breakfast. Put him on a wrestling podcast and put it out on the TalkSport network. That will still get thousands and thousands of downloads.
yeah,
Thousands of downloads. Alex is great at what he does,
yeah,
but you just put him on the breakfast show and they pretty much buried him.
yeah.
And it was embarrassing to listen to, especially when, like you say, you've got people like us, you've got so many wrestling podcasts, YouTube channels, etc., out there that could have done a much better job. Now, look, I'm not sitting here proclaiming that we're better than Talk Sport,
No,
but we know wrestling.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah, but yeah,
exactly
I
that.
don't know, mate.
Anyway, rant for another day. Let's actually get into SmackDown because that's
Oh
what we're
yes, yes,
here to
yes,
talk about.
yes.
Look, the opening, John Cena. So this kind of started on Raw, Randy Orton RKO's John Cena out of nowhere. SmackDown starts John Cena. I love his new thing, just black. Time is now.
Hmm.
Music's are I can all right, fair. He's
Everything's
still
backwards,
everything's
disrespecting the
backwards.
business.
Yeah, yeah, everything's all. I love that. He comes out. Obviously, Randy Orton comes out as well. The line that I got here is Orton when he said to Cena, "You need to have kids." I thought that was
I was like, uh-oh.
priceless. But look, ultimately, they're having a match at Backlash. They've set that up. Cena ate another RKO. Are we getting to a point where this year is going to be a kind of year where we'll see old feuds reignited and perhaps the last couple of feuds that Cena may want before he goes off into the sunset? And let's be clear, he is going into the sunset at the end of this.
Yeah, I think it's probably a case of he said, "Look, I want to work with this person, and that person." And look, he had a great rivalry. We can go back to what 2002, then 2012. I think he had a great
Yeah.
rivalry with Randy Orton. Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Ultimately, Randy Orton's not going to win at Backlash.
No.
I'm pretty certain.
Then Lewis,
Yeah, it's in his hometown. It's going to be a. I don't know if it'll be a squash or.
I have an idea for the
Oh,
finish.
okay, I'm listening.
Go back. There was a match that they had, and I can't. Forgive me. Maybe in Extreme Rules, I can't remember. But during the match, this was when Randy was heel, Cena was face. Shockingly, I know Randy made a point of that during the
Promo,
promo.
yeah.
But there was a match that they had, and Randy Orton just turns around, punches the ref, and causes a DQ. Roles reversed. Cena will do that, kick the ref in the nuts or something during that match, and it'll end in a DQ.
Yeah, you might have
So
hit the nail
Randy
on the head
doesn't
there,
lose.
mate. Yeah, could have. Yeah, it's and obviously it's going to have to set up something moving forward. So is there someone interfering? Yeah, I'm with you. I can't see Randy losing clean.
No,
I can't see it 1, 2, 3. I could definitely can't see it. I'll be amazed if that's what happens. But I'm excited for the feud. It's going to be interesting to see how long they continue it. Is it just Backlash and done, and then Cena trots onto someone else? Because at the minute you look around, it's like, where really are you going to fit Randy Orton in? But you probably need to keep him in the title picture. You'll probably insert another maybe, and then there could be a three-way. The next pay-per-view, or maybe on a SmackDown or something like that. But I'm excited for it, mate. I think it'll be good.
I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be great. And I also think Money in the Bank is going to be Cena and Punk.
That'll be good.
Reversal of that all that time. I kind of think there's going to be a lot of intertwining from each other. The only one guy that I wish the WWE had for this is Copeland.
Yeah, it would be
Look
good.
back throughout the whole of Cena's career, he had a massive feud with Edge
Yeah,
at that point.
he's in the retirement home though. You won't get him, mate. He's not
He's
available.
actually
But I
injured.
told you Randy Orton, didn't I? What did I tell you? I told
You
you
did
Randy Orton.
say, you did point it out and say Randy Orton. You were
This
absolutely right.
bloody I'm on that show, I'm on that show. I think that's gone now, mate. That's done and dusted. Raw SmackDown. No.
Yeah, well, for the majority of it, I think they'll just turn up wherever they want, and then
Hmm.
they'll do a draft just for the sake of moving. I think
Just
the
for
bigger
pissing you off.
name. Yeah, well, yeah, just to piss me off because they know that I'm my comment on. But he actually made a good point. So we're going to sort of go into a draft of sorts. This week we saw a lot of people kind of show up from NXT on Raw and SmackDown. Julia, Roxanne Perez, and they having this thing stitched onto their. And this week on SmackDown, it was Fraxium who lost the NXT
Yeah,
Tag
the
Team
tag team titles.
Championship.
Yeah.
Stand and deliver, great. I mean, these two are fantastic. They were taking on Los Garza, very underrated in my opinion on WWE. It was a great match. Fraxium picked up the victory. I think it was a fun one, a fun match, good debut for Fraxium as well. I'm just hoping that this isn't just a flash in the pan kind of thing, because you know what it's like especially with the tag division. We'll get into that great main event in a bit. But is this now perhaps, and what I'm hoping is a rebirth of tag team wrestling in WWE?
Yeah, and like you said, we're going to get into the main event. I think if that didn't rebirth to it, God, that gave the kiss of life to it. But yeah, I hope so, mate. Because you like you say, me and you have always been big fans of the tag team division. I hope so. I really do hope so. I think WWE they need someone to showcase this talent. I think gone are the days, hopefully, of being called up from NXT and then 2 months later, to quote you, you're looking around and they're sitting in catering. I'm hoping them days are gone. But yeah, I thought it was a really good match. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with them moving forward. I just hope they don't get lost in the, like you say, we've said it so many times and gone, oh, so and so's been called up from NXT, and then 3 months later you'll go to me, oh, do you remember we spoke? And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck ever happened to them?
Yeah.
I just hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, me too. I like to hope that we don't get that. I think it would be annoying, especially. Especially if Julia is called up. I mean,
Hmm.
that was a refresh that perhaps that was needed on the women's side, Roxanne Perez as well. One question actually about the women, just quickly. I know we're going to get into Tiffany in a minute, but um, the one interesting one was Bailey. Now, if you saw the interview or have seen
I
snippets
did.
with Chris Van Vliet, this week, great interview. Anything you see of Chris Van Vliet, by the way, just sit there and watch it. It's incredible interviews that he does, very aspiring. But Bailey on there, there was my fear, well, not a fear, but I have a feeling she's going to be the next big name that perhaps leaves WWE at the end of her contract and perhaps joins her good buddy over in AEW, Mercedes Moné. I get the impression things are not all well in the Bailey camp at the moment.
When's the contract up?
I think it's next year. I think.
I'm hoping it's a work, but this if it is, it's a shit one because
Mm.
she doesn't seem to be. She's not injured, so she hasn't really been included in anything. Mate, all right, she got beat up at Mania, and that's so they could get shoehorn Becky Lynch onto the card.
Mm.
Wasn't really doing much done nothing on SmackDown. We mentioned on Raw, so yeah, something's afoot. I mean, I don't know if they've got some big plans. Is she going to be the girl that joins Paul Heyman? And we've
Oh.
all been blindsided, and it's not going to be. We all think it's going to be Becky Lynch.
Mm.
Is Bailey going to go back to heel Bailey again and join Paul Heyman?
Could do. That's
Who
a
knows?
good shout. What did you make of the Paul Heyman faction, by the way? Well, I've got you.
I love it. I think it's really good, mate. I absolutely love it. I'm a bit surprised they're going to send, mate. I don't know how long it's going to last. I'm a bit surprised they're going to send Roman and Punk down the tag roll. I hope
Mm.
maybe that's just it's pretty much nailed on. It's going to be Backlash. I'm guessing we'll find out tomorrow night on Raw as we sit
They
here
are
talking.
talking tomorrow night, so we are going to get.
Yeah, so I reckon it could be obviously Braun Breaker and Rollins versus Reigns and Punk at Backlash. I'm guessing it's a
Mm.
bit surprising they've gone down that route, but I like the way that it's We were worried a good few months ago now that how they were going to transition from the whole bloodline thing.
Yeah.
Seamless, really.
Mm.
It's kind of we've fitted back into what Wrestling 101.
Yeah.
You know, new storylines, new feuds, etc. And all of a sudden, I think they briefly mentioned it at Mania, like this is officially now the end of the bloodline. Roman Reigns is coming out to the ring on his own.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So they've transitioned well. It's going to be interesting to see. I reckon there's going to be obviously two more members. There's obviously talk of a woman coming in and another and
Mhm.
another and another guy. Potentially, it could be Becky Lynch because obviously she turned heel
Yes,
on
you did.
Raw last week. But yeah, I wouldn't put it past Bailey and then another Carmelo Hayes probably would be my bet.
Interesting pick. I mean, he's currently with the Miz, right?
Oh yeah, don't get me. Wait till we get to that part of SmackDown. It's the only bit I didn't.
We
Only bit
will
I didn't like.
we will talk about that. But first things first, it was Tiffy time on
Hmm.
SmackDown. She did come out and talk about her win. Charlotte Flair, great. Well, it was a match. I mean, if you like Meltzer's star, so he got a 1.75, which to be fair, I did see Meltzer's star ratings at WrestleMania, and to be fair, I agreed with the majority.
Yeah, I mean, quick. Who am I? I'm Naomi. I can't hit anyone.
Oh
What the
my God, yeah, we'll get into that.
fucking hell's
We
bells?
we will get into that. Tiffany comes out, but she was interrupted, interestingly, by Jade Cargill. That sets up their match that they had. There was a few little bits in this, but actually, the majority of the issue. from this match come from Tiffany. It wasn't
Hmm.
Jade as such. And then you saw obviously Nia Jax come out. Naomi come out as well. Sorry, Naomi come out, as you say, silly punches or whatnot. Was it too early to put Jade in that type of match, do you think, though? I don't know where you
I
are with it.
don't know. If they kind of held her back and they're kind of like, look, sink or swim now. Because when she come in from over from AEW,
Hmm.
she's meant to be the next big thing, going to take over the women's division. And obviously, we didn't see her for a while. They had to quote unquote say she was injured so she could go
Yeah.
down to the development center and hone her skills to WWE standards. Not this isn't me having a dig at AEW. I'm guessing just WWE have got standards and they're like, we're not putting you on TV, whether it be NXT, SmackDown, Raw, until you've got a lot better in the ring. So they obviously debuted her and then they mugged her off TV for God knows how
Hmm.
long. Now was probably a time of look, we've invested a lot of fucking time and money and effort in you. It's now time to sink or swim. So
Yeah.
she's kind of been thrown in at the deep end with Tiffy. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest matches of all time, but
No.
it set up something moving forward for Backlash. I'm guessing. I'm guessing we're going to get all four of them in a match at Backlash. You're not going to get. Well, you're going to probably going to get Nia, Naomi, Jade and Tiffy in a match. I'm guessing at Backlash, or do we get it on SmackDown? Do the number one contenders kind of thing heading into SmackDown next week? But I think it's going to be a four. I think Tiffy will keep the belt for a little while longer. But interested to see. I'm kind of semi-interested in to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I am. I am interested where to go with Jade. I do agree with you. I do think it's time for her to deliver, though, and we've got to stop this kind of. There's always these little bits that happen in her matches sometimes where we're kind of think the
Mm,
fit. They done that. She done that. Tiffy done the handspring and that looked a little bit,
yeah.
dodge as well. I do agree that it should be sink or swim time. I don't know the route they're going backlash. I do agree that it's probably going to be a multiple person match of some kind.
Is Charlotte Flair done now for a bit? Is she off again? Just like, do we just see her like every 4 or 5 months?
Fucking hell, she comes back for 2 weeks and then she needs a holiday. I don't know. I
Yeah, I'm
really.
not sure where she fits into this whole dynamic. I don't know if she's done now and we won't see her till she gonna now be like, oh yeah, we'll just see her at SummerSlam and Rumble and Mania and a few
I don't,
SmackDowns here and there. I don't know if she's what her deal is now.
I don't know. I really don't know. I maybe waiting for that aforementioned draft, perhaps. I don't know. Well, could do what Natty does and gone to the NWA. Natty's going to the NWA in a couple of weeks for the Crockett Cup.
Mm.
That's going to be interesting. But
Might have a
anyway,
decent match in NWA.
Kenzie Page, yeah,
First time in
the
20 years.
going for the Burke.
Mm.
Going for the
Yeah.
women's championship. We'll see what that happens. But talking of championships, that brings us to the new United States champion. Praise the fucking Lord. Jacob Fatu comes out. Still a little bit of tension with Sokoa in there as well. That doesn't seem to be finished yet. However, obviously LA Knight come out and that was fun. But I was surprised to hear Drew McIntyre come out in this. Now, don't get me wrong, McIntyre and Fatu, yes, please. It's 4-1, by the way, for those of you that are.
Oh, we're recording this while Tottenham are
Yeah.
playing. Yeah. Liverpool just won the league.
um, so was surprised to see Drew McIntyre. He come out and roast them both, which I thought was quite funny. LA Knight on the top rope. There's still a little bit of heat between the two. It did
Hmm.
get spoken about the Royal Rumble. And I thought, as I said, I thought that was great. I did actually, funny enough, see that there was a stable in TNA that was, I think it was Tonga Loa, Drew McIntyre, and LA Knight were all in one
Ah, okay.
in TNA. But I love the promo. I'm interested to see where they're going with it. But for Drew McIntyre, is that kind of a demotion after WrestleMania?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's just like a temporary look, just do this for a month. And again, I think Backlash is going to be very much like, look, we're going to set loads of shit up
Mm,
and then we're really going to go to the races because it's always
yeah.
difficult. You get the big build up to Mania, and then you get we always say, not the lull after it, but I
Mm,
say that Backlash last year was fucking probably the best show of the year in France.
yeah.
Um, you kind of get that right. What are they setting up moving forward? Because you are thinking of the bigger term picture. You said like the next big pay per view isn't until August.
Yeah.
SummerSlam,
Two
like
nights.
two nights. SummerSlam, that's going to
Cardi
be out.
B.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. It's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be better than WrestleMania. Let's just pin our hopes on that. Hopefully it's Bank Holiday weekend again as well, so we get to watch the Sunday
Well,
night. But yeah,
that'll be the same as Forbidden Door, if it is.
yeah,
That-
you might as well just go. I'd rather watch the bathroom door. But anyway, it's you've got. I'm hoping that they're gonna. I hope it's Yeah, okay. I'm hoping it's not a big drop for Drew. I'm hoping it's just
Yeah,
like, look, for a month. Then do they say, is he next on the John Cena run? Is it
interesting.
Randy that gets done for a little bit and then McIntyre goes into a feud with Cena? Is he the
Maybe.
third man? Do you have Orton, Cena, and McIntyre in a match at a later date? I think that's what happens. I don't. I think far too with far two. I think you're just going to be waiting for Solo to turn on him.
Yeah, maybe
That's gonna.
once Tonga Loa's fit and
Yeah,
ready back.
and then I think you'll kind of get that whole storyline kick. So again, it's just not filler, but I think WWE are just like slowly catching monkey.
Yeah, it's probably wise, and it's nice not to have so many of the same rematches as well. Because do you
Hmm.
remember when it was called WrestleMania
Oh,
Backlash?
WrestleMania
Fucking
Backlash. You're like, what's the fucking point in watching this?
yeah, and
Imagine a WrestleMania Backlash this year. Oh my God, no, thank you very much. Apart from
no,
a couple of matches, fucking
yeah,
God, no.
no, I wouldn't want it at all. Um, Chelsea Green was defending her championship against Selena Vega, the women's, sorry, United States Championship against Selena Vega on SmackDown. She had her, I don't know what you call them. What are they called?
I like the bodyguards,
The
protector,
Niven
yeah,
uh,
fucking, oh, I
and
don't know.
whatnot, and I can't remember what they're called. Forgive me on that. Anyway, they get moved to the back. Bottom line on this is that we crown a new United States champion. Selena Vega been in the business for quite some time, never won a singles championship until now. I thought actually the match was tighter than expected. Like with them two, I didn't know. I thought maybe because the past matches they've had, there's been a little bit of an issue in the ring with them both. That wasn't this time, thankfully, and it was a fun match. Big surprise at the title change because I thought Chelsea Green was probably as over as she's ever been so far in the WWE.
Unless they're using it, and I've literally just thought of this, unless they're using Selena Vega to get to Charlotte Flair wins that title, and then you have title versus her and Tiffany.
Oh, okay, maybe.
I'm thinking they might be using Selena Vega as a placeholder because that will be a better match. Having Charlotte Flair versus Chelsea Green would have been a bit like, I don't know, me trying to get in the Man City squad next weekend or something like that. It wouldn't work. So I think it'll be. I'm hoping because she's a really good wrestler,
Yeah.
really, really good wrestler. Can I potentially see a long run? No, I've got a horrible feeling she's going to be a placeholder for someone like a Charlotte Flair, and then you have a title versus title kind of moment.
Mm. No, that's good. No, I could see that happening. To be fair, with Selena, I do like. I'm not a fan of her new theme. That she's been death rebelled in
And
a
get a
bad,
finisher
bad
as well.
way.
Get a better finisher that isn't the 619. Dominic's got it. She's got it. Rey Mysterio's obviously got it. It's like, come on now, guys.
She normally does the code red. I think that was the finisher,
Yeah,
but I don't like the 619 being used too much in the
it's a shit finisher.
setup anyway for a match.
Yeah.
But we were talking now. We were talking The Miz a little while ago and
Oh.
Carmelo. He gave Andre the Giant
Mm.
he gave him a chain of some kind of Andre the Giant. The Carmelo Hayes winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal last week. We'll get into what happens after that, but what the fuck's that all about?
Oh, dude, I don't know. I'm not even interested. This is another fucking what are you doing kind of moment with WWE. It's like, well, they need TV time. Let's do this.
Do you remember during COVID was Vince McMahon had a fucking egg?
No, honestly.
Somebody nicked the egg.
Yeah. I do, I feel so sorry for the Miz because he's literally done everything that company will ever ask of him, ever. And he just gets, well, we're going to get into it. He gets just thrown into shit now. And to be fair, though, I don't know if he even cares. He's probably earning fucking, you only got, well, did you care if you were going home to his wife? No.
No.
What you going to be you having a squash match today? Oh, no, Maurice is at home. Oh, well, never mind. You
Yeah.
know, I don't think he cares, to be honest, but they could be doing so much more with him, so
Mm.
much more. And obviously, we're going to get to what happened on
Yeah, it's
Saturday.
kind of good now to get back into it. So he was having an interview in Ring saying about how he's still the Miz, as he's still awesome as it's 5-1. And he's the Miz, he's awesome. Lights go out at this point, and another worst kept secret in WWE. The man that we knew was coming back. It's just a case of when was Aleister Black. Thank fuck he wasn't Def Rebelled because he had his old music. Thankfully, it was
Hmm.
Aleister, so he's gone back to his WWE name. It's not Malachi Black. He comes out. Black Mass is the Miz basically, and that's where he is. We mentioned this because we talked about Rusev and we talked about Aleister Black, and we're kind of wondering, well, are they going to be what's going to happen to him? Sort of debuting against the Miz, and actually, funnily enough, if you go back to his AEW debut, It is exactly the same, but it's with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is even wearing the white suit that the Miz was
Mm.
wearing. So it
Oh
goes back to
wow.
them. But are we just? Is this just exactly where Malachi Black's going to be, or Aleister Black's going to be?
Mid card, bro. The crowd went mild, as I'd like to put it on SmackDown. There was a little bit of a welcome back chant. They've
Mm.
already, in my opinion, they've already dropped the ball with him,
Yeah,
and you're really gonna have to go. You don't bring him back and just have him in. No disrespect to the Miz, because the Miz is where he is, and like I've just said, I don't think WWE know what the fuck they're doing with him.
yeah.
But I mean, you can already tell he's just going to be mid card. I mean, so he's probably going to have a match with the Miz now at Backlash.
I think it's this
No
week.
one,
I think it's
yeah,
this week.
no one's going to want to see that on SmackDown. But no one cares. It's going to be a squash. Black will win in under 5 minutes. Done, dusted, and then we'll move on, and no one will care. This time in 7 months, 8 months, I'll give maybe a year max. He won't be in WWE.
Yeah, I think.
No, no chance. They just don't know. They don't have to use him unless they're going to have a whole drastic character change and they're going to push him into the main event and give him a chance. No, he'll end up like who's the geezer that had the rant at WrestleMania?
Oh, Karrion Cross.
Yeah, he'll end up like Karrion Cross.
Well, let's hope not. Well, actually, Karrion Cross may be getting a big push now, so we'll
I
just
hope
have
so.
to see. We'll
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
hoping
see.
that was obviously a little bit of a work because WWE replayed it about 3 or 4 times, so it's clearly a quote unquote work. Let's hope it works and they do use him. But as for Black, yeah, no.
We'll see. Yeah, we will see. I was kind of hoping that they were going to push him into something meaningful, but it clearly wasn't
Yeah,
the
unless they put him in
case.
a tag team, unless they team him up with someone and that ignites the tag team division, maybe. I don't know who or what you'd do into a faction with Champa and Gargano, maybe. That'd be
Hmm.
interesting. Something like that. But yeah, I don't know, mate. I'm not sure. I hope they don't fuck it up because he's a talent.
He is. No, he is a talented guy. There's no doubt about it. But I think in many AEW fans, guys, it was like, oh my God, he's having a single match because there was rumors that he didn't want to work a
I
single
thought I
match.
was talking to the only AEW fan. Oh no, you're Dave. Dave's not here. Oh, I got you.
If it's not here. But anyway, we go to that. We were talking about the US title, and there was number one contenders match on SmackDown. This was actually won by Drew McIntyre, although there was a lot of interference in this as well. There was obviously that Damian Priest comes back out. So I think you're right in this sense. I mean, fucking Fatu goes crazy at the end of this anyway. He takes people out and all of that sort of stuff. But are we looking at potentially at Backlash, Jacob Fatu versus Damian Priest versus LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre in a fatal four way?
We could be. Isn't there a number one contenders this week? Isn't there something about that on Friday? This Friday, did they say something was happening next Friday? I think you might be right, but I think I did. I read or heard? Did they mention it, or am I thinking of something else? That coming up this week, me and you sit here
Oh,
recording
no.
this on a Sunday.
Mm.
Is this? But yeah, you're probably right, mate. Unless there's some number one contenders matches things going on SmackDown. Yeah, again, it's going to be a four-way, and that'll be. I think that'll be a banger.
Yeah,
That
that
would
will
be
be.
really good. You put all them four of them in the ring together. I don't know. And even if you've made it a ladder match or something, it'd be even better. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Again, it's gonna be stopgap maybe for if you think Damian Priest has gone again from being the world champion now down to fighting for the US title. Drew McIntyre was, the man, and now he's kind of down fighting for the US title. I mean, kind of in limbo a little bit with these guys. I think WWE are just figuring out where to put who and where to move them and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, yeah. If anything else, it'll be interesting. But I would love to say before we get to the main event, the R Truth.
Uh,
Yeah,
when I grow up, I want to be like John Cena. You are growing up.
I mean, Cena trying to, he was, obviously our Truth is like the man that tries to break everyone. He's made Lesnar do it
Hmm.
a couple of times. I mean, he didn't get Cena to do it. Cena very much, I'm
No.
sure he walked away and was like, "Fuck's sake,
Yeah.
he done it." But that Jimmy Uso appeared at that point, and that got me wondering whether Jimmy Uso is going to be on the John Cena radar going forward, or whether that's just a bit just because he come because.
No, could be, mate. Again, it didn't really do much on SmackDown, that little backstage segment. Again, WWE are probably not revealing all their cards on the first SmackDown after Mania. Where does he fit in? Eventually, I think they're going to turn him heel. I don't like him as a babyface. I like him as a heel. That would make more sense to me. I mean, does he join Paul Heyman? That'd be interesting. I'm not sure what to do with him, but yeah, I prefer him as a heel. He obviously didn't do much on SmackDown, but I like, yeah, him versus Cena again. realistically, as wrestling fans, you're going to think, well, I'll watch it, but it's just filler because there's not a chance in hell he's winning the title of Cena.
No,
Again, you're just thinking, right, here's another feud that will go on for three or 4 weeks. And then who's Cena getting to next? I think ultimately it's going to boil down to the end of the year when he has a rematch with Cody Rhodes.
that what the last thing you would imagine it being?
I'm
Him.
going to guess something like Survivor Series, somewhere ish around there. Or mate, it'd be the ultimate fucking thing if he did, like, keep it, just go, take the title with you. I think it'd be good.
Yeah,
Reset it. Maybe I think that if you're going to do it, you're not, there's no chance you're ever going to get to do it. He
yeah,
rides off into the sunset, and boom, we have to reset and we create a new title or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, ultimately, I think it's leading to Cody Rhodes. Obviously, Cody Rhodes is going to be off for we don't know how long. I'm going to guess Money in the Bankish SummerSlam, maybe. Or does he come out at the end of Backlash? Ultimately, though, Cena's going to have all these good feuds. I
yeah.
think ultimately, though, you either want to get it back somehow on Cody Rhodes, which I don't know, after his first run, WWE might be rethinking that, and eventually Roman Reigns.
The way you're going, Roman Reigns gets it in the end. Would you say potentially?
Something like that. I don't know. I just think with him having the title, I know he's not full time, but yeah, I think ultimately that's where they would go. Or did they just, like you said, is it a Drew McIntyre, a Priest, etc., etc.? I just think the ultimate payoff is going to be Rhodes or Reigns.
We'll wait and see. Who's your already favorite for Money in the Bank, by the way?
CM Punk.
You think Punk?
He's going to have to get so the title that Jimmy's got now, Jay's got now.
Hmm.
That's the CM Punk will win that.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I thought that's when he was going to face Cena.
Yeah, mate. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think if it's not Punk, is that when Cody Rhodes comes back, wins Money in the Bank?
Could do.
So
Maybe.
much. That's why we love wrestling, mate.
Exactly. That's why we do love it indeed. But let's get on to something which was absolutely amazing. The TLC
Oh, fuck.
match on SmackDown. The Profits against Johnny Gargano, Motor City Machine Guns. It was absolutely incredible, this match. A prosthetic leg, a fan's
Oh,
perspective.
the fan when he hit him, oh, it was brilliant.
With that was there. It was, it was just incredible. We did get a nod to the Edge and Christian Dudley Boys Hardy
Off the
match with a
ladder.
big
Yeah.
spear off the ladder from Dawkins. Did go through a table to break that for me. And it wasn't as good as the Edge one was,
Mm.
obviously was great. But these three teams epitomize tag team wrestling in the WWE. And if you're gonna revitalize that tag team division and revigorate it, those are the three teams you build it around.
Yeah, this was probably the best tag team match on TV that isn't a pay-per-view
Mm.
that I've seen in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there thinking, it was like I was watching a main event at WrestleMania. I was like, oh my God, when you really get into a
Yeah.
match, even at our age now, where we've been there, seen it, God knows how many matches me and you have watched since we were young kids. This one, I was sitting there thinking, this is incredible. Every spot that they hit was brilliant. You had some, you say you had the nod to the past, some of the shots, with the chair between the neck. That
Yeah.
was incredible. There was table spots. There was everything that you could possibly want from tables, ladders, and chairs. And when they announced it, I went, "Oh my!" And I went, "Oh God, I'm old." Yeah, no one in the crowd seemed to chant that. Yeah, it was simply that's going to be up there for match of the year already,
Mm,
and we're only in April. That
definitely.
that was better. I said to you over text when we were speaking this morning. That's better than anything I saw at Mania, pretty much. I
Yeah.
think that was them guys saying, "Right, you don't want to put us on the card." You don't want to put us on WrestleMania. You want to give a spot to a rapper. It comes back to what you said at the start. When you give these fucking spots away to all these
Yeah.
part-time celebrities, there's people like Johnny Gargano and all them boys that go, all right, let's see what we do now. And the Motor City Machine Guns, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Saw some of their matches that they had in TNA.
Mhm.
Great run. Yeah, this was incredible. Hoping this is the way forward for a SmackDown. I'm hoping like the main event now moving forward isn't just like some meaningless. They've set the bar now.
Yeah.
This was fucking amazing.
Yeah, it really I thought it was an incredible main event. And I agree, I do hope it sets the tone for what we're about to see going forward. It's like you say, we're now on this arc, the Mania going
It
up
was,
towards next Mania. That's the arc that we're on now, but we're going down of
yeah,
that arc.
yep. I mean, WWE will have something in it. They'll have the vision that, like you say, if you watch enough wrestling over the years, and me and you definitely, and everyone watching this probably definitely has, they'll have a vision of where they want to get to. like Vince McMahon always said, he
Yeah.
goes, I always knew the main event for Mania 9, 10 months out, sometimes a year.
Yeah.
He says, what I didn't know was how I was going to get there.
Mm.
Triple H will know where he wants to get by SummerSlam, and then SummerSlam, already you're thinking Mania.
Yeah.
Already. You're already thinking 8 months in advance. So it's just how they get there and how they maneuver certain pieces. But if that's the standard, that match alone, just purely that match, fucking incredible. One of the best matches I've ever seen as a wrestling fan. And it was on TV.
It was indeed on TV. Hopefully, we get more of that this year. SmackDown was great. Raw was great. Raw this week. What's been announced? Well, we has been announced that Adam Pearce won't be there on Raw this week. Nick Aldis will be taking over the reins for a day on doctor's orders. We will hear from Pat McAfee, which gets me thinking: are we going down the route of Pat McAfee versus Gunther at Backlash?
Oh,
Uh, I don't. I know. I know. I know.
no, no. Is good. Is he injured, Gunther? Is that why they wrote him off TV? The
No,
quote unquote suspension?
they've
Is it
just
just
suspended.
giving a break?
Yeah,
Yeah.
give him a break.
I
Yeah,
wasn't sure if he was injured. I wasn't sure if you heard
no.
anything. Okay.
The only injury I know from WrestleMania is Bianca Belair,
Gotcha.
broken finger. That's
Yeah,
what I.
they kind of interviewed her on
Yeah.
SmackDown, didn't they? Yeah.
So that was it. So it's just gonna that's gonna be on Raw this week as we build up to Backlash. Which, when we review Backlash, two things: I will be in Cornwall, and secondly, we have a great guest lined up, which we've tweeted it out. Our good friend from Wrestling Uncensored, Johnny North, will be joining us again, my friend.
It's like a backlash tradition. Third year running, Mr. Johnny North is joining us. Him and Dave Simon got me into wrestling, podcasting, Wrestling Uncensored. I've been there since day one. I absolutely love them guys. Absolutely love Johnny North. Wouldn't be the same doing backlash without him now. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate.
Definitely not me too. But now you had some good stuff. You've been doing some good stuff on the
Oh.
Completed It pod. What have you got coming up on that channel?
Yeah, so completed it pod. If you want to check us out on YouTube, just type in completed it podcast. We've got. Do you remember when you were a kid, ads, and you watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the
Hey.
April O'Neil?
Yep.
We've got the woman that voiced the original April O'Neil. She's on with us Monday. Tuesday, we're dropping our review of the movie The Amateur, where we've got a Spider-Man special next week. We've got some great guests coming up. I think all the content's done for like the good thing about doing a movie podcast is I can just film like 4 or 5 and then
Yep.
wham them all out. You know how it is. Life gets in the way. But yeah, honestly, I'm absolutely loving doing the movie stuff. I went and saw The Accountant 2 today with Ben Affleck. Highly recommend that movie, mate. So yeah, if you love your movies and your pop culture, your DC, your Marvel, Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, all that, etc., etc., come on over to Completed It Podcast on YouTube and you can find me there twattling on about movies and TV and stuff. And then yeah, I'll come on and
And
do this with you, mate.
obviously yes, and that's the best one. Coming on here and doing that with us. Dunstable off now for the
We're
preseason.
done, mate. Yeah, season's finished. NFL season's finished. Football, quote unquote, soccer season has finished for me, mate. So yeah, Dunstable's done now. We're not back till pre-season. June the 12th, we're back. I'll be back to work with them. But yeah, at Talk of the Town podcast, if anyone likes their non-league football. And yeah, the bunker will be back soon. The draft's just happened in the NFL.
Yes.
Washington got, yeah, we did well. Good friend of mine, Scott Hartley, was out there announcing one of our picks. He won International Fan of the Year, so big shout out to him. Yeah, the bunker will be back soon, probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's just sometimes, it's good to have a little,
Need that break, and obviously it's
yeah.
people in the States as well, time difference and
Mate, honestly, that's still don't no disrespect to anyone in the States, but doing completed it, it's just on my time. I can do it
yeah,
when I want. It's at like 5, 6 o'clock in the evening doing things like this. It's now 6:15 on a Sunday.
yeah.
Me and you can just like, yep, we can bang that out. But thanks for having me as always, mate. Honestly, really proud of you what you're doing over here.
No, thank you, and always come back. 'Cause I don't like talking to a wall.
And yeah, when I do watch your episodes on your own, I think, oh bloody hell, man. That's why as soon as I watch SmackDown, I was like, let me text that, see if he needs a
Yes,
hand.
I was always gonna. Yes, that was always thing. Coming up on here, I'm gonna be in about an hour or so time. I'm gonna be interviewing a former manager in the WWE for Deuce and Domino. For those people that will know that time, Cherry will be coming back. I need to shout out TNA. I'm so grateful to be on
I
the press
saw.
pack this week with Joe Hendry. I did get to ask him a question as well. That's been dropped. I did send a link out to that earlier on to go and check that out. TNA Rebellion is tonight, so yes, I'll be reviewing that tomorrow. But I have called in a favor from my friends at TNA Wrestling, and that favor will be coming in September. I can't say who, but if I say the word Ignite Wrestling Buckle Up, then you will probably know we're bringing somebody scheduling. We don't know the second half of the schedule yet, But we've got the verbal commitment today that yes, as it stands, we're bringing in a TNA star. It's September, but all
Exciting.
we can do is hold fingers and thumbs and everything else and hope that if the man's still available come September. If he is, he'll be coming. That's all we know right now. So
Fine time.
keep eyes and ears peeled. When we can announce it, we will announce it. Anyway, that is for sure. But you can take on, well, you can follow us at HTT Buckle on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on all other social media outlets. I'll be back tomorrow for Rebellion. Make sure you are too. From Andy Burrows, I'm Adam Cousins. You've been watching the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.